Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be looking at solving for the denominator, so where the unknown is at the bottom of the fraction. So if we're dealing with a right angle triangle where we've got an angle of 25 degrees here, this is 4 meters and our hypotenuse is unknown. So we're following all our steps again. So just like we did in the previous videos, we're labeling our sides and then choosing the correct formula. So step 1, if we label our sides, we've got the hypotenuse here, we've got the adjacent over here, and then the opposite. Using what we know and what we're trying to find, we can see that we're using the cosine ratio. So we would write down cosine of 25 degrees is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, so it would be 4 over x. So that's the first equation that needs to be written. So we know, well, essentially, so we're showing that we understand what's happening and what ratio to use. From here, we need to actually solve for x. Now, x is down the bottom over here. We actually need it to be up the top as a numerator. So in order to do that, we need to use inverse operations. So this line here we know means to divide. So like we did in the previous video where we didn't know the numerator, we move x over to the other side. When x moves over, we do the inverse of divide, which is times, and our equation now looks like this. Because we have moved the x over, the only thing remaining on this right-hand side is the number 4. Now I've got essentially what I've wanted to do. I wanted x up the top so that I could solve for it. When it's down the bottom, we're not solving for x. We're looking at a concept of 1 over x, which is different. Then from here, to get x by itself, I do the inverse of times, which is divide. And I move this part here, which I do not need, over to the other side, and I divide now because I'm doing the inverse of the times. So these are the steps that are all involved, but essentially, as you can see, the only thing we've done is swapped these two, but we need to understand why, what's happening. Putting that into our calculator, we would get 4.41 meters. All right, let's do another example. Okay, we've got this triangle here. Got a right angle triangle. We know that this is 10.2 centimeters, and this is y, and this is 70 degrees. So again, step 1, let's look at labeling our triangle. So we've got the hypotenuse here, this is the adjacent, and the side opposite the angle is the opposite. So using that, we're looking at these two, which is tan, so we write out our initial equation. Tan of theta, so tan of 70 degrees, equals opposite over adjacent, which is 10.2 over y. That's the first equation that we need. After that, we're trying to solve for y. So y needs to go up the top. In order to do that, we do the opposite of divide, which is times. So it becomes y times tan of 70. Now that we've moved the y over, the only thing left on the right-hand side is 10.2. We then move all of this back over because we want the y by itself. The opposite of times is divide. So it's 10.2 divided by tan 70. Again, essentially all we've done is we've swapped these two around, but we need to know the mathematical reasoning behind it. From there, 10.2 divided by tan 70 gives me a y value of 3.71 centimeters.